Welcome to another episode of Come to Work With Me. Carrie has got a lovely video about our good mates who we're meeting today, and then we'll get to meet them and have a chat. Of course, before we start, we'd like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which we all meet today. We acknowledge their elders past, present and emerging, and we'd like to welcome everyone from all the different schools around Australia today joining and having a chat. And of course, drop down in the comments where you're joining from. Beautiful, Carrie. When you're ready, take it away.
Hey everyone, this is our Positive Engagement and Pathways team at Primary Care Connect Shepparton. My name is Ali.
And I'm Liz.
And my name's Sarah.
And finally, I'm Trent.
Are you a young person aged between 13 to 25?
Do you need support connecting with the services in the community?
Are you someone who has been affected by the COVID-19 pandemic?
Have you disengaged from school?
Do you need support linking with accommodation or employment services?
Our PEP team is here to support you.
Look, the pandemic has affected our lives in so many different ways.
It's okay to ask for help and reach out to services.
Our service welcomes young people from all walks of life. We recognise everyone is unique and we strive to understand and build on their strengths.
You may be wondering how you can be referred to our program.
There are two ways to refer. Number one, visit our website www.primarycareconnect.com.au.
There you will find our program under the Youth Services tab.
Or just call us on 58 233 200 and ask to speak to our consumer care team.
Stay safe and take care.
Wonderful. I love a video to start these chats. So we've got Trent, Sarah and Ali with us today. Welcome, guys. How are you?
Good. How are you, Audrey?
That was really, really in time. That was great. I am very well, thank you. Now, let's start with Ali. Please give us a little bit of a rundown on who you guys are, what you do, and where you're based.
No worries. So my name is Ali, everyone. Thanks for joining the live today. So I'm Ali from the Positive Engagement Pathways team. Our team is located in Shepparton, Victoria, Primary Care Connect Shepparton. We're a youth service that's providing support for young people aged between 13 to 25. So during the COVID-19 pandemic, a lot of young people got affected in different ways and different forms. But one main common theme that stood out for people was mental health and how, a lot of young people had very tough times and their mental health was going downhill. And that's when our funding came in and we got started. So all three of us got the job as we were affected by COVID as well. So we support young people in terms of more of like a bridging service. We link them in with services that they need. So young people that have been affected by COVID, disengagement from school, they need support in terms of getting a job or writing a resume or linking in with community services, volunteering, leadership opportunities, whatever there is for young people in our town, we do our best to link them in with those services. Other than that, during that COVID, since COVID started in 2020, we realized that mental health services were bombarded with the amount of load that they were having on them. Waiting time was between 6 weeks to 3 months for those young people, a lot which have very serious conditions. So our service fills in those gaps. We work with those young people, refer them to the appropriate services and do a warm referral after that. We do continue working with those young people if there's goals that we could work on and still continue achieving. So we do use SMART goals to achieve those goals in a measurable time.
Fantastic. And Sarah, can you just run us through a little bit about why the program was definitely introduced and sort of your partnership with YACVIC? So YACVIC is the Youth Affairs Council of Victoria, and I know that they're working with you guys as a part of this program and they sort of help funded it maybe. Am I right in saying that, guys?
Yeah, so they help.
Yeah.
Do you want me to take over, Sarah?
Jump in, Trent, take over.
Yeah, so they help fund up at Primary Care Connect. Obviously got the funding through YACVIC because there was a huge call out here for there's not enough youth support services up here. Yes, some companies up in Shepparton, we got the Bridge, they have a youth service. but there's only a certain criteria that they can look after, whereas we were there to fall in and help grab those students and those kids and the youth that fall through the cracks that couldn't meet that criteria. So we picked them up and then pathway them into a different service that they actually want to go into and can achieve, because so many youth up here don't know that there's services out there that they can actually look for and get help with, or they're not like educated enough, they're not aware of it. So that's what we're here for, to actually help that. And that's what the funding from Yak Victor's helped, because it was originally 5 positions get advertised, and then we're lucky enough to have 4 of us that were successful, and then one of us has currently just got a new job in a different youth area. So she's got a job through PCC, and then got a bit of experience, and she's moved on to a different avenue that she thought would be better off for it. So
Yeah, fantastic. So up in Shep area, there is so many young people. I think it's quite a large area, I guess. Do you know roughly the population of the young people, of youth up in Shep?
I think there's like 65,000 people in Shep in total. I'm not sure about the percentage of youth, but there's how many schools have we got? 5, 6 maybe?
5 or 6, yeah.
Yeah, so I'd say there'd probably be, I don't know, 20% of the, What do you reckon, Ali?
I was going to say, around 15 to 20% of the population.
Yeah, and a lot of these kids are going to be affected the most by COVID-19, right? It's definitely hitting home for everyone, not just young people, but young people are, I know, kids and that who I come through with schools and that are being affected because they're not being able to see their friends. They're not being able to go into school to learn and have that social sort of experience as well. That connection, So I think for kids, it is so important that they have this ability to reach out to you guys and, for your assistance. It's really, really great what you're doing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So to apply for a job at the moment, it's really, really hard being in COVID. And of course, you guys all were put into this job in the middle of lockdowns and restrictions and in the middle of it. So what was sort of the lead up to getting into sort of the youth support industry? How was that lead up? Did you have to do any qualifications, any courses? Did you have previous jobs that you've left for this? How did we get here?
So
No, you go first, Trent. That's completely fine.
So all of us have actually come from different sort of backgrounds, different experience, different levels of education. For myself, I'm currently studying a diploma of AOD, but have had experience with being a support staff in the school. So I've got that connection with the school's community at both primary school and secondary level. So that's me. What about?
Okay, I'll go. So before I got this position, I actually was a dental nurse. And then after that, because I was affected by COVID, I then got a job in a mask factory. So essentially how I got the job, or how I decided to sort of get into this line of work is a couple of years ago when I was dental nursing, I actually didn't feel like my heart was in it. So I just sort of decided to branch out and, do a little bit of research into other qualifications, something that was going to have a bit more satisfactory, I suppose, behind it, and something that's always going to be different. So I started looking into community services, and I did my Cert 4 last year. It started off really great, and then because of COVID, we had to do it online, so it ended up being blended learning, which wasn't ideal, but still okay. And then after that, I actually really enjoyed it. So that was 6 months, the Cert 4. So I then applied for the diploma, which I'm currently doing at the moment, and will finish in March, I think, after 2 placements. And then, so once I started doing the diploma, I sort of found that was my niche, I guess. And I chose community services because it is such a broad, I suppose, sector. So whether that means you want to work with youth, disability, just absolutely anything. So it was a good avenue for me to sort of figure out exactly where I wanted to situate myself. And then when I saw the job going at PCC, I was like, was to be perfect. Haven't had any experience before, and then when I had my interview with Deb, it was actually really great, and it went really well. So obviously she's hired me. So, but
You're here. You're having a chat
I'm
with
here,
us.
obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, it ended up being like quite a smooth transition, I suppose, in between the two qualifications and getting the job. So it's been good. I've only been in the sector since March. And since being at PCC, like I found that I've learned a lot, and especially off Trent and Ali, and also Liz, who was in the video, who's no longer in the program, that being that they've all been within the sector before, that it's been great to get knowledge off them as well. So
Fantastic. Ali, how'd you get here?
So mine is a bit different in terms of the other guys, but as Trent said, you know, we all have our unique experiences. My background in terms of studies is I finished year 12, went into a Bachelor of Health Science thinking I'm going to become a doctor, but then I realized it wasn't really me, it was my parents that wanted me to become a doctor. So I switched into doing a Bachelor of Human Services, Masters in Social Work. I finished my Bachelor, now I'm my Master degree. In terms of work background, I started at the age of 14, around 14 or 15, working as a pizza maker, and then into retail, working for Optus, and then working at the local ethnic council of Shepparton, which was a project that I worked with, was around working with youth from multicultural backgrounds that were flagged as causing trouble at the schools. But in reality, it changed their life, that project, and changed their view on life, and their sense of leadership completely changed. In terms of how I made it to PCC, is I guess through starting at, when I was young, back in high school, I did a lot of volunteering, and I continued to do it until this day. At times, I used to get told I should be getting paid for how much volunteering I do. It was more like a full-time job. Weekends, whenever I could pop volunteering, I'd go and do volunteering, and that kind of what spread my name around in the community and helped me get the job I'm in today.
Yeah, fantastic. So you guys have all come from different walks of life, like you said. And I think I know when I was growing up, I grew up in Kilmore, and we didn't have youth services in Kilmore or anywhere near us except for Broadford and Wallen. So after school, some days I would go to the Broadford or the Wallen youth room, and it was really important to have that sort of connection with youth services and a youth worker, and be able to go to these places and have a chat with someone about, okay, this is my career path, what can you do to assist? And of course you had the volunteering options. So it's really, really cool that the kids up in Shep area have got an opportunity as well. And I think it's really interesting to hear that you've all come from different walks of life, but you're all sort of doing similar jobs now. You're all in the youth sector, helping young people. And I think it's a great industry for young people to even look at getting into themselves eventually. Because again, you don't have to go to uni, you can do a TAFE course for it. If you do go to uni, that's great. But of course, for so many kids, going to uni is not an option. I know it wasn't for myself. So it's great to hear that you all get to the one place, but you come from different backgrounds. So thank you for sharing your stories.
No worries.
What would be the best piece of advice you could give to kids at the moment in the middle of yet another lockdown, probably going through some of the toughest times that they'll go through in their life?
I don't mind going first.
Go.
Sorry. Since I'm probably the one that graduated last from school in terms of the team, I guess my best advice is, in year 12, we are surrounded by very high expectations, whether it's other students, whether it's other teachers, whether it's ATAR schools, universities, career days. But one thing that I used to really fear is you speak to that person and it tells you need an 85 ATAR, the other says 90 ATAR, 95, and then you look at the numbers of how much it's going to cost you over the years, and it's just a lot of stress. One thing that I'll tell you is for sure is, I know I've got to be mindful of my language, but don't really worry about what they say. Just go with what you believe in, what you're passionate about. Don't worry about people. Don't worry about anyone in your life other than yourself. And look at your strength, explore yourself more, ask people what do they see as your strength, and go towards that pathway. Because you don't want to repeat my mistake where you took a pathway that it wasn't really what I enjoyed. I did it for 2 years, had to still pay for those 2 years, but they kind of went into a waste, and then I had to change the pathway and go with what I want. And look at your options. Look at always have different options. Don't be stuck with just one plan. It's either that or it's the end of the world, and I'm a fail, or I'm not going to make it anywhere in life. There's always different pathways in life. So while you're in year 12, exams are coming soon, I'd say put all that aside. Okay, put all those future thoughts, put them aside, focus on your exams, do your best, and whatever life takes you to, it's not the end of the world. You could always make it where you want.
I definitely agree with Ali when he says all of that, because I think that when I was in high school, I certainly cracked under pressure. I didn't get the ATAR that I wanted, didn't do very well at all. I found that I got really discouraged after that, so I ended up sort of lowering my standards. So I think my advice would be, even if you're not interested in uni, that's completely fine. I was the same as Ali did. I actually did 2 separate qualifications before I got into community services. Just experiment. If an opportunity arises, take it, give it a go. If you don't enjoy it, it's not the end of the world. It's time that you've lost, but it's not the end of the world. We have our whole lives to, I suppose, try different careers and experiment and do whatever we want. So I think you'll find that there are people that are in their 40s and 50s that sort of go through life and just sort of get bored of their job and it's not satisfactory, and they just sort of I suppose, give up and go, well, why don't I try something different? So I just think, like I said, take as many opportunities as you can. And yeah, I think really work on your confidence, even if you do get discouraged when uni talk comes around, because the pressure can be quite ear piercing. So
absolutely. Trent?
Yeah,
anything
but
else to add?
the other two have probably spoken about more the uni sort of side of it and the year 12, but even for the younger youth, just take a step back and try and relax. I think in this current situation that we're in, especially in Victoria, but even in New South Wales, and we're in the lockdown, it's not what we want to do. We're stuck inside, but just try and take that step back and go, all right, I'm going to try and concentrate on myself and control what I can control, and I don't care what everyone else thinks. And that's the biggest thing. We just see so many youth get caught up in, I've still got to do this and I've still got to do that. No, you don't. You just take a step back and let's relax and control what we can control, really.
Yeah, I agree with that, actually, Trent. That's a good piece of advice, definitely.
No, thank you guys for sharing your advice. I think a lot of kids need to hear it. They need to, again, take a step back. They're only in control what they can control, basically. And I know definitely when we were in school, the talk about uni and ATARs and everything was so just full on. Exams were crazy. I think I didn't look at my ATARs for another 3 weeks after it came out. I was just like, nah, not doing that.
I was the exact same. I couldn't look at it. I made my partner at the time look at it, and then I got him to tell me what it was, because I could not even look at it. It was horrible.
Yeah, no, I was just like, I can stay there. That's fine.
It sort of burnt me out, all that talk. Obviously, towards the end of year 12, you get all the teachers and your careers teachers saying, this is what you got to do. Look at this, sign up for this, sign up for that. And I was sort of like, when's it going to end? Let's break it down a little bit and just go, all right, yep, you got to sign up to receive your ATAR, blah, blah, blah. Not give us 15 different avenues to go down, and we've got to try and pick one to go down. It was a bit ridiculous when I was in year 12. I don't know about the rest of them, but that was just personally from me. And then even to do the exams, didn't really enjoy it. And then after exams, I was like, I didn't even know what I wanted to do then.
Yeah, I actually second
caught
that.
Up, just going, and then I ended up trial and error a few things, like the other said. You just got to trial and error and see what you like and see what you don't like. You're still young, you got plenty of, I'm still young, I'm 24 and I've still got plenty of experience to go, so I might be in this field for another year or so, and I might go try something else. You just never know what things come your way. You just got to try them, really.
Absolutely. Well, thanks guys for joining us today. It was great to hear about both your industry and what you guys do. If kids are after your assistance or your support, where can they find you?
Probably linking in with the services like on our Primary Care Connect website, linking through there. And then the other thing is because we're stuck to different shires around Shepparton, so we can't really go and work with people from Melbourne or different shires that aren't in our region for our funding. So the funding that we are in is the Strathbogie, the Goulburn Valley and the Moira.
I think that's right.
And then, yeah, so we've got the 3 shires around us. So if you are in those areas and you do need some support, feel free to link in with us and we can see what we can do from there.
Yeah. Also on the website, sorry, Trent, I didn't mean to cut you off. But when you click on the website, go into the services tab, and then I think we're the 3rd down, it's the positive engagement and pathways team. So make sure you click the right one.
And then if worse comes to worse, call us on our number 58233200 and we can have a chat then as well, just to see, instead of trying to put through the referral service as well.
Yeah.
Fantastic. I think Carrie is putting all of the website details in the comment section, and we'll put it in post-production as well. Big shout out to Primary Care Connect, the Working for Victoria program, who helped us all be here today, and the team at Yakvic for referring us to our guests today and for helping to organise all of this. Of course, we've got another episode next week, Thursday, September 9, and at the same time as always. And again, to students and teachers, there is a survey on the screen and also lesson plans available for teachers. So thank you guys again for joining us. Lovely to meet you all and lovely to have a chat. I should probably let you get back to work.
Thanks a lot, Audrey.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us, Audrey.